Alright, so here we have the 4 windows. Okay, this one's actually a glass block we'll be using later on. Let's just tackle one of the worst ones and then we'll move on to the easier ones. I'll have you guys do the easier ones. They're all handled the same way. They're broken up into a couple different formats where these glass planes will be a different texture and material altogether than the frame itself. So that's why they're 2 separate meshes. We're going to join them here in a second, but it's so much easier to actually do these as 2 separate meshes rather than a whole combined mesh. So these always are the same way. I can just automatic map them, find the front, and treat it special. Try to get it as much onto the front as possible without overlap. In this case, I'll grab the UV, go to shell, drag it off to the side so all the pieces should come over to here. Okay, I know that all these top ones are going to have eventually something attached to them, so I can grab all of them at once, hit move and so. Same with the bottom. Same with the side, leaving off the top 2. Because if I had these, again, it would cause that to happen, and we don't want that to happen. Alright, perfect. So I got rid of a lot of that. Now all I do is decide which ones I want in and which ones I want over to the other side. I like doing the right and lefts on the front and the tops and bottoms onto the back. Okay, so in this case I'm going to highlight all these edges, and that's going to move all the left and rights into position. So this face and this face are part of that shell. And then I'll do the top and bottoms over here. So I'm just highlighting top, bottom, top, bottom. Sometimes you'll have to zoom in. And then I'll just hit move and so. And that's how you handle windows. Very, 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 very simple. It's not that complex. The thing about the windows are it can have overlap with the window panes. Okay, so we'll just kind of scale these down. The window panes, simple. Anybody can do these. Here's a little trick. If you grab all of them and combine them, and then do the automatic mapping, they'll be the same resolution all the way through. And that's all you do with these window panes. That's it. These are already laid out the best as possible. And then you take both objects and combine them. Try to align them very nicely. You're going to be tearing this mesh apart a few thousand times through the texturing process. So this is just one of those things that you're just going to be joining together and then probably separating a few times. That's what the window is going to look like. Now that fights all the other rules I showed you, the fact that it has overlapped. Again, it's because there's going to be 2 different materials, 2 different textures on this one window. That's why we do that. Okay, so all the windows are treated the very same way. That one's the most complex one because it has 4 panes of glass. These have a lot less. The texture block, or the glass block, has a little bit of an extrude to it, so let's do that one. This one has no rhyme or reason. It's going to have the same kind of material across the board on it. And my job is just to figure out what attaches to what. So this is my front face. So I'm going to do that first. And at this point, you should be able to do these a little bit faster without too much thinking. So I'm just moving these shells, grabbing an edge, seeing what attaches to it, and rinse and repeat. Okay, nothing attaches to that one. Okay, this is the back side of this. So, moving so. That one moving so. And where does these go? Well, looks like they attached over there. Yep, I could do that. So these are the insides to these squares, and we don't want to attach those. See what happens? Watch this. This is really ugly. Moving so. See that? That's going to cause huge texture distortion. We don't want that to happen. So we're going to leave these alone as separate shells. I am going to show you a little trick on this one though. In the case that I don't want you to use this too often, but unless you know how to use it. So go to layout and go to square box. And for prescale we want none. For scale mode we want uniformed check. You can hit save settings. If these are not checked, it will ruin your uniformity of the mesh. We do not want that. So what will happen is, if I want to lay out these UVs, I can hit layout UVs and it'll lay them out for me. There we go. I saved that trick to last because really it's cheap, and if you don't know what you're doing and you're not looking, or just kind of using that button as a very cheap method of getting things done, you could inadvertently destroy a lot of work. So that's a very powerful button. Layouts, usually I like doing those by hand anyway, but still as a student you should know where that's at. Alright, so I'm going to have you guys do these windows, and then we are done with this process of adding UVs to the objects. Now in the next video we're going to have to do a uniform scale across all objects that are alike, and I'll get into that in the next video.